Hi everyone, I'm Jamie, I'm a little bit strange, and welcome to a Dead by Daylight killer tier list. Basically, I haven't been feeling very well the past few days, like my eyes hurt, I can't look at screens for very long, so I can't edit like a full gaming video. So instead, to get a video out, so I don't miss a day, I just thought I'd record a Dead by Daylight tier list. But rather than the usual Dead by Daylight killer tier lists, where it's based on good killer players and good survivor players, I would base it on both the killer and the survivors all being rank 20. So to put it simply, if the survivors are all rank 20 and they load into a game with a killer that I've put in the D tier, they are most likely going to have an easy game and probably all escape. And if the survivors load into a game with an SS tier killer, they're probably all going to die. Okay, so let's get started with the D tier, in which I have placed the nurse. If you are a rank 20 survivor and you load into a game with a rank 20 nurse, most likely what will happen in this game is all the survivors will escape, because the nurse will not understand her blinks at all. She will most likely either follow the survivors at a slower speed than they're running because she's scared to use her blinks, or she'll be blinking entirely in the wrong direction, will lose everybody, and never get a hit or a hook in the entire game. The nurse is a very difficult killer to play and will usually in most tier lists be in the SS tier, but in this rank 20 tier list, because she is so difficult to play, she's in the D tier. Moving up to the C tier, first I have the Oni. I've placed the Oni in the C tier mostly because before he gets his power, he is essentially an M1 killer, meaning he has no tools to catch the survivors or hit them or down them. And with the Oni having to absorb blood from the survivors in order to get his power and down them faster, chances are that the Oni will take ages to get their power and will probably just be an M1 killer for most of the game. With the survivors being rank 20 as well, they only will get a few hits in, but chances are when they do get their power, finally, they will just activate it immediately and not know what they're doing and torpedo straight into the nearest wall, and they will find it even harder than being an M1 killer to catch anyone. So I put the Oni in C tier. Yeah, there is a bit of a trend in C tier with the Doctor being the next killer that I have placed there. The trend being that I'm assuming that rank 20 killers would not know how to properly use the power, so they would just end up being an M1 killer. So the rank 20 Doctor wouldn't know how to use their shock power to stop the survivors dropping pallets or vaulting windows, so they would just end up an M1 killer for most of the game, very similar to the Oni. Next in C tier is the Legion, mostly because having been a rank 20 Legion for a lot of my early Dead by Daylight playing time, they will mostly go into frenzy the second they see a survivor, not be able to hit them because they don't know the lunge distance or just miss entirely or get pallet stunned, and then they will be an M1 killer with absolutely no power for most of the game because they just can't hit anyone with the frenzy. Also, chances are they won't understand the frenzy. They will hit someone, finally, they will see the heartbeat in the distance and just charge at it, not knowing how far that is away or if they can actually get there in time. They will use up the rest of their power charging at the heartbeat in the distance. They won't know how to track after the heartbeat's faded, so they'll start looking around in that area. Their survivor's long gone, even though they're rank 20, they're probably in the corner of the map. While that's happening, 3 gens will pop in the distance, so that's why I've put the Legion in the C tier. Yeah, just a pause here to say that rank 20 survivors will mostly play immersive, meaning they will repair generators because that's the only thing they know how to do, but the second they hear a heartbeat or anything, they're gone. So they will be repairing generators, so generators will be popping, but they will be incredibly difficult to find because they will mostly be hiding in the corner of the map. And the killer will mostly be heading towards the generators because that's what they know they've got to stop happening. So they will just head towards the generators. They won't look around much, so they won't find the survivor crouching behind that wall in the corner of the map. Next in C tier I've got Hillbilly, mostly because when a person is new at playing Hillbilly, they will not understand the chainsaw at all, and will most of the time spend the time careening into the nearest tree or wall. The rank 20 killer playing Hillbilly will mostly become an M1 killer, and every time they pull up their chainsaw, they will embed it into the nearest tree or the nearest wall, or occasionally the nearest survivor, which is why I've put them ahead of Legion, Doctor and Oni. Next in C tier I've put the Huntress. Now the rank 20 Huntress would not know the correct way to aim hatchets or anything like that, but also the rank 20 survivors wouldn't know how to juke hatchets, so chances are they'd run in a straight line away from the Huntress, which would give the Huntress a lot of time to, aim up the shot and fire it. So that's why I've put her above everyone else in C tier at the top, because this is kind of, C tier is mostly people who have difficult powers to use, if that makes sense. So that's why I put the Huntress here, but I think with rank 20 survivors not knowing how to juke or anything, she would be better than all of the other killers I put in C tier. Starting with B tier, I have the Demogorgon. Now, I've put the Demogorgon in B tier because I don't think his portals are that difficult to use. I think a rank 20 Demogorgon would put a portal down in a random area, perhaps near a generator or just somewhere in the map, and another one, and they would be able to teleport there, and given that a rank 20 survivor wouldn't be waiting for that, wouldn't expect it. The Demogorgon, I think, the rank 20 Demogorgon would probably get a lot of hits in on unaware survivors, given the undetectable status effect he gets from first coming out of the portal. So that's why I've put the Demogorgon in the B tier. Next up in B tier we have the Yeehaw Boy, the Death Slinger. I've put him here because I really don't think he's that difficult to use. With how he can instantly pull up his gun and shoot, I've seen good survivors not have enough time to get out of the way of that, so I think rank 20 survivors would just be shot with harpoons left, right and centre, and also they wouldn't entirely know that they can block it with certain things, or the survivors can come and block it and break the chain. They wouldn't know, for example, that they can be shot through windows, and it would be common sense for the Death Slinger to try that, so that's why I put the Death Slinger here. Next up is the Clown. Mostly from playing as a rank 20 survivor for a lot of the time I've played this game, I know that a rank 20 Clown will just spam bottles until you basically are you can't really run away from a rank 20 Clown, because they won't wait and use their bottles strategically. They will spam them at you until the point where they're right up against you and then they hit you. A rank 20 Clown will just cover the whole of the map in gas, because that's their power, they know what to do. Against good survivors, this wouldn't work. But against rank 20 survivors, a Clown is an absolute killing machine. Next up in B tier I have the Spirit. Now the Spirit does have a hard power to master, and a hard power to use in general, but against rank 20 survivors, a Spirit can go into her phase ability. She can catch up to the survivor, because the survivor won't change their running direction. So say the Spirit is about 32 meters behind the survivor and the survivor starts to run away. The Spirit can go into a phase, catch up, easily follow the scratch marks left by the survivor, and just hit them straight down, because they won't have changed their direction. They'll be running in the same direction. The Spirit can easily catch up, and it doesn't take any sort of mind game or knowledge of the Spirit's power to get that survivor downed. Yeah, hard to master, but I reckon the base kit is strong enough and simple enough that a rank 20 killer could catch a rank 20 survivor fairly easily. At the top of B tier I have the Plague, mostly because the rank 20 killer vomits on a rank 20 survivor, they get a little bit sick, they run away to cleanse. So you're always going to have your black puke power as a rank 20 Plague. Now, the reason I put her in the B tier is that a rank 20 Plague, when she sees that she's got her blood puke, she will mostly leave any chase she's in and go and get that blood puke, and then not really be able to find anyone once she's got it. I think this would also slow the game down so much that the rank 20 Plague would mostly have a chance to start hitting people down, because the survivors would just hide once she's got her blood puke and wouldn't do any gens, wouldn't do anything for fear of getting hit, and that would slow the game down enough that the Plague would eventually find people and hit them down. And then if she does manage to find anyone while she's got her blood puke, they're going down for the same reason as I said that they would go down to the Huntress, because they don't know how to juke, they don't know how to dodge. If a rank 20 survivor goes against a rank 20 Plague with her blood puke, the rank 20 Plague will just cover the whole area in blood puke until the survivor is dead. I've kind of just put all the stealth killers in A tier together, in no particular order, just all the stealth killers right here, all of them together, because I've seen it myself from playing as a rank 20 stealth killer against rank 20 survivors, and playing as a rank 20 survivor against stealth killers. Rank 20 survivors just die the second a stealth killer shows up. They don't look around them, they don't look behind them. Like, if they're doing a generator, they're looking straight at that generator and they're going to get grabbed off it by a Ghostface and Shroud, or a Tier 1 Myers, or just a pig who just gets up and stops crouching, or they're going to be locked in the corner by a cloaked wraith. Stealth killers just annihilate rank 20 players. And at the top of A tier I have the Trapper, because even if the killer is a rank 20 trapper, they're just going to be placing traps down wherever the hell they think is good. They'll just put it in a bit of grass or next to a generator or something, and rank 20 survivors will walk into these traps. Rank 20 survivors don't look at the ground, they don't check for traps, they don't assume traps, so it doesn't matter where the rank 20 trapper puts their traps, most likely people are going to walk into them. I've seen this happen at rank 20 games. Nobody will get hit the entire game because it's a rank 20 trapper, so it's like an M1 killer. But then at the end of the game, you'll just see 3 people walk into traps, and the trapper will just go around and hit them and put them on hook, and then probably got nowhered, and it's just end of the game from there on out. Because, like, playing as a rank 20 survivor, I never looked at the ground, I never checked for traps. There's a video on my channel where I just wander into a trap because it's just in the open. Yeah, so that's why I've put the Trapper at the top of A rank, just because traps, rank 20 survivors are trap magic. Trap magnets, trap magic. In S tier alone, I have Fredwood. Now, basically because Fredwood is super easy to play and super strong. This happens at all ranks. The Freddy is just ridiculously easy to play. His power is really strong. It's basically, you don't need to practice with Freddy basically at all to be good. You can teleport to gens, you can put slowdowns everywhere with your like blood pool things, and with the Dream palettes being a grey rank add-on, a lot of new Freddys will have that on. So a lot of rank 20 survivors don't know where pallets spawn, they don't know which pallets they've dropped, they can't remember. They're always going to get hit through the fake pallets. And basically I just think Freddy, regardless of if you're a rank 20 killer and everything like that, Freddy is super strong, super easy to play, so that's why I've put him in the S tier alone. Now the double S tier is for a very specific breed of killers that rank 20s excel with ridiculously well. These are the killers that are extremely good at face camping. I was considering putting the Wraith up here as well with his Invisa camping, but in the end I went with Bubba and the Hag. The Hag's slightly lower than Bubba because if you go against a rank 20 Hag, most likely what's going to happen is they will down you, they will put you on the hook, and then they will place all 10 of their traps around that hook. Rank 20 survivors won't do gens in this situation. They will try to get the person off the hook. They will not crouch to get through all the myriad of Hag traps. They will just run straight at the hook. The Hag will appear, probably hit them, down them, chase the person off the hook, down them, and then she will have 2, probably 5 traps on each. She will stay in the vicinity and teleporting distance, teleport to the hook. Basically, a rank 20 killer will face camp, and the Hag is an exceptional face camper. That's why I put her in the double S tier. And of course we have Bubba, the best face camper in the game. If you get caught by a rank 20 Bubba, which a rank 20 survivor most likely will, because they will, fall to his chainsaw, because he'll rev his chainsaw, they'll panic, most likely run into the nearest wall, and then they will get chainsawed down. Once they get put on the hook, the Bubba will stand in front of them, revving the chainsaw. If anyone tries to rescue that person, which they will, because rank 20s are very altruistic, they're very lovely people, I love rank 20s, but they will try and save somebody off the hook, they will get downed, and then the Bubba will have 2 kills. And most likely this will continue happening until the Bubba has all 4 of the survivors dead. I've also, for another reason, put these two in the double S tier. Obviously they're excellent face campers, they're easy to play, they're good for new players, but they also have some of the best perks in the game, with Bubba having barbecue and chili, and Franklin's demise, and knockout, not important. And with the Hag having Devour Hope and Ruin in particular, because with Ruin, if a survivor lets go of a gen, it starts to regress, and as I've said before, if a survivor hears the killer's terror radius, they're most likely going to crouch away into the nearest corner or bush or something, so that gen will start to regress. Now, I know it's also likely that the survivors will find the totem and cleanse it, but rank 20 survivors won't be looking for that. They'll just be trying to do gens and hiding when they hear a heartbeat, which means that Ruin will actually give a lot of value to a new player. So yeah, that is my tier list, assuming that the survivors and the killers are rank 20. If you disagree and think that you would put it differently, say down in the comments. If you liked the video, give me a like and subscribe to see other videos that I make. And I hope to see you all next time, hopefully with a gameplay video, hopefully my eyes feel better, and I will see you all next time. Stay strange, everyone.